6 marriages taking place together, inshallah ta'ala. I would like to be as brief as possible, but of course, the subject tonight has got to be nothing else but the institution of marriage as viewed by Islam. And that has got relevance with the subject that I have been dealing with for the last several Fridays. The basic difference is in the way one looks at this institution. Islamic worldview and Islamic viewpoint being quite different. It views Islam views marriage as a sacred institution, while it includes marriage in the chapter of contracts. It does not exclude it from ibadat also. It does not exclude it from the acts of worship also. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man tazawwaja faqad ahraza nisfa dinih." Whoever gets married, he has indeed saved half of his faith. فَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهُ فِي النِّصْفِ الْآخَرِ. In the remaining half of it, then he has got to act cautiously by avoiding evil in his conduct. So half of religion and half of the faith, half of the spirit of Islam is protected and saved once a person gets married, a boy or a girl. And when he said again that when a person gets married, the reward for every rakat that he prays is equal to 70 salat prayed by those who are unmarried. He was giving a subtle but very valid hint that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would like to see a person coming before him 5 times a day for acts of worship, composed and relieved of most of the needs in the legitimate way, so that he does not come there with his thoughts dissipated and his mind out of control. And this is more relevant and applicable today when we know for certain that digression and distraction for young men in this circumstance, in the environment in which we live, is quite possible. Marriage can save many lives from pitfalls and vices. So Islam looks at it as a step towards achieving taqwa. So it's not only an occasion of rejoicing. For example, today for mashallah at least 12 families, and for all mu'mineen, because we are all bound by bond of faith, and therefore a joyous occasion in one family means joyous occasion in every family. But it's not only for rejoicing, it is actually an occasion where parents will have to take some time to explain to the children who are getting married as to what is involved in this new chapter of life. And as I said earlier, it is very easy to form a bureau or a guidance or advisory or counseling party or whatever for the marriages which are breaking or irretrievably broken. Reconciliation committee. That is very easy. What is difficult is to advise when a particular person wants to get married, and from one's own fund of experience and from the counter influences from all those civilizations which we are not prepared to accept because it is un-Islamic, these things must be told. If we do not tell, we are failing in our duties. And whenever I sit and I see so many young men, mashallah ta'ala, garlanded. In our language we say, Ek Raat ke Badshah. At least for this night, they are the princes and the kings. And we have come to congratulate them and to wish them well in their lives. There are 2 or 3 words of advice which they will not like tonight as I say them, but they will, whenever recollect it and remember it, even when they get older, inshallah ta'ala, may Allah give them long life, they will remember. When we were young, we used to tell our parents in indirect way that the time is come for marriage, but the parents would not listen. And we could not speak openly as they speak nowadays when they tell you, Father, the bell is now ringing. We could not say that. But in those days, whenever we just made a subtle hint, we were told repeatedly, Beta, a lakrana ladu che, lakrana ladu. This is a wooden ladu. In English, they have now already given a name to ladu, sweet ball. It used to be meatball. It has become sweet. But it is wooden. जो खाता है वो पछताता है और जो नहीं खाता है वो भी पछताता है. Whoever eats it, of course, finds it tough because wooden laddu cannot be eaten. But whoever does not eat it, he also repents because he sees from far how beautiful it looks and wants to eat it, but he hasn't come yet. His chance hasn't come. And if he is deprived all the way throughout his life, he repents for not having experienced. Allah says, وَأَنْكِحُوا اللَّيَامَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ إِنْ يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. See that men and women, even those who are enslaved as girls, slave girls or maids, see that they get married. Compatible matches are made. And if you fear poverty, Allah says, if you fear poverty, if they are poor and for the pretext of poverty they don't get married, Allah shall make them sufficient and self-sufficient, min fadlih, from His own bounty and blessing. In Islam, therefore, an approach towards married life means that there has been a life led singly but pure, devoid of all vices. Vices which are vices according to Islam. And now they are entering into a fort which will protect them and prevent them till the end of their life from getting into any pit. That is the meaning of life. Inshallah ta'ala, this will be understood better when our young boys and young girls, brides and bridegrooms will inshallah today enter into the new lives. But at this juncture, the best men are there, and mashallah, this time I see some of the best men who are quite elderly. But normally the best men are so young that they are always busy telling you how to match your tie with your socks. And still these best men in England are lucky. The best men in East Africa used to tell us how to step over the tawri. And if you failed to break that tawri, that means it was very bad omen. And if you did not exert enough pressure to break it, and if you missed it, another tawri was brought. It must be broken properly. And then, of course, when an animal was slaughtered, you must walk and jump over the blood. And there were so many things to be done, all un-Islamic, but it was part of our culture. Most of the best men today don't know about this, so they are happier and lucky. But we used to have all those problems in earlier days. What has got to be said is that from tomorrow, my dear bridegrooms and brides, a new chapter opens. You used to walk into the house as a prince. Now when you will walk, you have got to be careful. You are walking into your own home and house. The Prophet said, a wife who has been trained by her parents to obey her husband. This is Islamic, and we are not at all ashamed to say this. Obedience is Islamic. I'm not trying to sound very modern by telling you that the wife can go her way and the husband will go his way. He has no right to ask her where she went and where she slept. He has no right to know from the husband. She has no right to know from the husband whether he was really busy at the office, whether he was delayed because there was extra load of work, or there was a load of human flesh. We just do not subscribe to that civilization, and I am not even ashamed to say that. Islam says that there has got to be obedience. And what is the secret of obedience? Does it mean slavery? No. It does not mean slavery. I gave example and I have to say this again and again. How often I do not know. But as long as, inshallah, the young men and women of this community will go on getting married, and as long as I live and I am alive, and as long as this member is given to me on these occasions, I will repeat this lesson. If the Jamaat has given an order here that that car must not be parked in the forecourt during the occasions, then those who are responsible in the Jamaat have to obey it first so that it is obeyed by the others. Is it true or not? The secret of obedience is that when you learn to obey, people obey you. This is what we are taught in leadership, that when you are a leader, you've got to first obey, so that people will learn to obey. But if you think that you are privileged, therefore you can do whatever you like, then there is no question of expecting obedience. True? When the wife obeys, it means it is a step towards a happy life, where the husband will acquiesce the same way as the wife obeys. And that is the secret of happiness. And many a young men have come and said, Mullah Sahab, even ladies, after all, the brides, when they come to relate their stories to me, they are just like my daughters. When they come and say, but Mullah Sahab, this is a modern world, I tell them, we have tried all those methods. Please do not try to learn the lessons of life the hard way, and try to derive benefit from the experiences of those who have already experienced. And when I say this, I have in my own file not one but several instances which can prove beyond any shade of doubt that Islamic civilization, where culture of Islam says, O bride, as you enter the house of your husband, tie a knot with a firm resolution that your conduct will be that of obedience to your husband. Except in matters where obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obedience to husband collides, then of course you will remain obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not to husband. But in matters of life, obey. But to the husband also, the Prophet said, and then the Prophet said, a wife who makes a habit of giving a warm reception, a cordial reception, with a smile over her lips when the husband enters the house. Allahu Akbar. She has the reward and thawab from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equal to a mujahid and a warrior in a holy war. Why? Why this comparison? Why the Prophet did not say equal thawab to having given so much of charity? Because this is life, and life can be analogous to a battlefield where she has to constantly fight to save her life, to save her family, to save her children, and also to live a happy life. She must know how to maintain the balance. And for the man, the Prophet said, Allama Majlis al-Rahmah has written in Hilyatul Muttaqeen, which has been translated into English and also into Gujarati and Urdu, Tahdhibul Islam. It belongs to Allama Majlisi. His original name is Hilyatul Muttaqeen, which has been translated by ulama, and from Pakistan we have got it. Read it. How should a husband behave when he enters the house? The Prophet said, enter with small gifts every time that you enter. And the smallest and the least that you can offer in the house is to enter with some degree of love and mercy and say as you enter, Assalamu alaikum Ahl al-Bayt wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salam upon you, O people in the house, and grace of Allah and barakah upon you. And don't enter the house as if Malakul Maut has entered. When the son peeps from the window and says, Mummy, he has come, and he is under the sofa. And the daughter goes away behind the chair, and the wife is busy as if nothing has happened. Everyone is just stand still. Why? Because his check has bounced. Because a particular sale which was first concluded has now been cancelled. Well, man in this life can have a multitude of problems. But that does not mean that what we say in Gujarati, Isa no khar, Musa upar. If somebody else has wronged you in the bazaar, there is no justification for your wife to suffer from, and for your children. True. So, what will happen, my dear fellows? The handsome grooms that are sitting here, and the brides who are listening, if they have already arrived, that what will happen? I'm telling you from experience. One day, you will enter the house, my dear sons, and you will find that the wife is totally out of her mood. Daughter. Suit you, what happened? Are you not well? Well, have the children made some mischief? Well, the neighborhood must have caused some problem, you don't know. But she is not in her mood. And she might trust. One never knows. There may be an explosion. At that time, the husband also says, I will show you. If you cannot change your mood, I am not going to change my mood. So what happens? There's a tug of war. She pulls from that and he pulls from here, and finally they go to Mulla Asgharali. And that poor mullah has got to sit and ask, what happened? I entered the house, she did not smile, she did not even laugh, she did not even respond. And then I lost my head, and then she said this, and then I said this. And it is good if they call Mulla Asgharali, but they sometimes call police officers. What a shameless thing for a Muslim family to resort to police intervention. And when they come there, They look at the whole thing and they say, sorry, it is personal, and they go away. And sometimes these people really, some of them I know, tell me that don't you have an institution where you can sit as elders and look after your children who have just got married? And same thing can happen to the husband who enters the house every day in good mood. Today he is just not in good mood. Why? I've given the reasons. The check must have bounced, or the sales, or whatever, or recession, which is a common word today, or the Gulf crisis, which has affected everyone and has given excuse to many. Whatever. And the wife feels dejected, distraught, and the problem starts. No. Our teachers used to say married life is that of give and take. But life has taught us that it is more of giving than taking, my dear friends. So, many of you do not know perhaps, but those who have been to the coast, they know. When we used to go for fishing, and if we caught a very big fish on a float line, the experienced fishermen would tell us, allow some leeway. Fuliza. Allow it to run as far as it can. If you pull, then either the line will break, or if it is a powerful fish, it will take you together. So what we do is we leave the line as many yards and as many meters it wants to take, it takes, and then there comes a time when the fish is tired, then of course we pull the line together with the fish. That is the secret. रोटी खाना शक्कर से और दुनिया खाना मक्कर से. That makkar is not that makkar. It applies to this. The day you find that the spouse is not in the mood, it is the day that you will smile and try to ease the situation. Whoever may be, the husband or wife. But if you respond equally, there is a problem. If both of you raise your voices, it will be a problem. One raises the voice, the other lowers the voice, and that is how this life has been going on and on and on. And it is wrong to assume, when I said obedience, it does not mean that early in the morning I rise and say, chai kya che? No. Not at all. Where is the tea? No. Or where is the button? Or why there is no enough salt? Not at all. Why my clothes have not been ironed? No. In Islam, obedience goes with what is called mahabbah, love. Whatever wife does in the house, caring for the husband, caring for the children, and for herself, ironing, cooking, whatever she does voluntarily and out of her affection for the family and love. That is the principle, that life be such that you don't have even to say that I want a cup of tea, and the cup of tea comes. Or the wife develops a habit of saying, why don't you ask for something? Would you like to have a cup of tea today? I can assure you that I'm a married man. I speak from experience. But this is how we lived. But the husband walks into the house, asks the children, where is your mother? Daddy, we don't know. She has left a note. Dear, darling, whatever. I have gone to a meeting, I shall be late. Where has she gone? Where has she gone? the limitations which were set in by Islam have been ignored by us, and we have tried to give those liberties which are not Islamic. Consequently, we have suffered. And if we want to continue suffering, then we may adopt it, because it goes against our grain, culturally also and religiously. Well, Islam said the wife will not leave the house unless she has told the husband where she is going. And if the husband has an objection, she cannot leave the house. This is Islam. And we are not ashamed of this, because in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as I said earlier, a woman is a haram. And even today if you go to Arabia, they will call them harim. Not that haram which has been made popularized by the Western civilization, where a haram means including concubines and wives. Not that. Haram means a precinct which is sacred. And therefore, either she is a mother, therefore her manzil and her stature and her status is so high that the Prophet said, under the feet of your mother there is Jannah and Behisht and paradise. Oh, she is a daughter. If she is a daughter, then do what the Prophet did to Fatima Zahra salawatullahi wasalamu alayha. Or she is a sister. Treat your sister the way Bibi Zainab was treated by Imam Hussain alayhi. Abul Fadl Abbas, he always said, Zainab is my sister and also is my mother. Right? Or she is a wife. When she is a wife, the moment she becomes Mrs. So-and-so, according to the civilization we live in, we write her name with the husband's name. In Islam, there is nothing like that. In Islam, even after marriage, her name will appear with her father. There is no concept of a Mrs. husband, no. So-and-so, daughter of so-and-so, married to so-and-so. But we don't have an objection. But the moment she became Mrs. So-and-so, then for everybody else, including those who are mahram, even those, they have to treat that lady respectfully, because now she is somebody's wife. We just cannot treat that part of humanity as a playful thing, as a bauble or as a chattel of sex only. That concept in Islam does not exist. And have your marriage ceremonies as simple as possible, with no haram entering into it, please. Because malaika come to join you. And when mu'minah enters, when the bride enters her husband's home, malaika say, ahlan wa sahlan biki. We welcome you, O lady, who is entering into the fortress of deen. Now how can there be malaika when there is my zindagi mein hardam? And all sorts of things going on there. How can there be? Do according to Islam and Sharia. Rejoice. Joy is allowed. But Islam does not banish mirth. It regulates it. So, whatever is within Sharia, do it. This is with Sharia. We are here. Soon we will join. We will embrace each other. We will congratulate each other. We will pray for their lives. And we will also give them our blessings. Go home. Within your mahram, you can have all the ceremonies you like. Mahram. Fine. You want to get photographed? Do it by all means. You want to get a video? Do it by all means. But mahram. You want to make a reception party? Do it by all means, but make it mahram, not a mixed gathering. That is un-Islamic, and I say this without any hesitation. And now I say, the time is come to tell my people, my friends, my elders, that if particular family does not accept Islamic principle and does what is un-Islamic by arranging mixed gatherings, it is wajib upon all of us to boycott it. And the test will come when one has to boycott his dearest relatives' program, which is against Islam. To show that what Allah has told us is first, and these relatives come next. Until this is done, and a boycott is maintained, there are some people who have the audacity of writing on the card, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of God, the most merciful and beneficent. And at the end, there will be a music party. Don't say La Hawla only, say Inna Lillah wa Inna Ilayhi Raji'un. There cannot be double standards. Hadith Kisa, I don't know whether they have been told or not, I don't know. But there is a dua to be read by them tonight. Mulla Sahab picho muktaj nathi, but I cannot leave you. There is a dua. There is 2 rakat namaz to be read for shukr, thanksgiving. There are people who say, Mullah Sahib, you are talking of thanksgiving. We don't even pray Maghrib on that night. Maaf. Who can spoil the crease of his suit by going to Sajda and Ruku? Or a lady has made that, what is called? Hive. Now, if there is any room for masa, okay. If there is no room for masa, namaz maaf. Or she has put the nail polish which will not accept water for wudu. What will happen? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Well, gentlemen, and my sisters and ladies who are listening, if at all they are listening, the problem is there are 2 rakats namaz called namaz shukr. Pray as namaz subh and then say, Ya Allah, thank you for having shown this blissful occasion in my life that I'm getting married today, and I shall now be saved, inshallah, and protected. Grant us a happy and prosperous life. And then there is a dua for both of them to read, not for one. And had it not been important, Ayatollah Al-Khuyi and other Maraji would not have included this dua in Babul Nikah. In Minhajus Salihin it has been included. That is the dua which we will read. And if it cannot be read in Arabic, that dua can be read in English, it can be read in Gujarati, or even in any other language. The meaning of the dua is that, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have made this person, if it is a wife, saying for the husband, or if it is a husband, saying for the wife, I have made this person my lawful partner, lawful husband or lawful wife, and I'm going to lead life with him or her according to your dictates. If you have destined and ordained that I may have children and issue from him or from her, let they be healthy, free from all deformities, and true Muslims. We are expecting a generation of Muslims, not pseudo-Muslims, true Muslims. Therefore, inshallah ta'ala. These marriages, 6 ones, will be the forerunners of many marriages to come, inshallah. And may Allah keep them, all of them, and their families happy, and make these marriages mubarak, as we say in Arabic, full of barakah and blessings. And may Allah grant them tawfiq to maintain that spirit of Islam even in their married life. They may have very happy married life, inshallah ta'ala. As far as difficulties are concerned, then we have this, what we say in Urdu, dhoop chhaon. Dhoop chhaon. You sometimes have shine, sometimes you have rain. Don't worry about that. Life is not always bed of roses. No. But inshallah ta'ala, if you have adhered and stuck to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى. Inshallah ta'ala, if that is in your minds, the life, inshallah, you will lead will be a meaningful, purposeful Islamic life. May Allah grant you children and grant you the wisdom of not practicing family planning from the very first year. Later on you may. But may the first Muslim come its own way, inshallah ta'ala. And may Allah grant you long lives. And make this occasion a blissful, happy life for your parents and also for your relatives and for all of us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.